Okay, so far we've talked about gross earnings. We've talked about how to compute gross earnings either through hourly rates, through salaries, and or through piece rates and commissions. Now, after you've come up with the gross earnings, now you got to figure out how much are the deductions, right? And so the first thing we're going to look at is some normal taxes that you're going to have to pay. For example, Social Security, Medicare, and other taxes. So the textbook talks about it as FICA. FICA is really a combination of both Social Security and Medicare. But in essence, what we're talking about, whenever you are earning money, you will have to pay 7.65% of your gross earnings is removed immediately to pay for FICA taxes. That money is then redistributed to seniors or people who are collecting Social Security, and also funds the Medicare program that we have in place here in the United States. Now I say 7.65%, that's 6.2% is Social Security and 1.45 is Medicare. So you can see that the Social Security tax and the changes that have occurred over time, but right now it is at 6.2 and 1.45. Okay, so going through and let's do a quick computation here. Help Jessica Ramirez, the manager of a local Panera Bread, find the Social Security and Medicare tax that must be withheld from weekly earnings of two employees rather. So we have looks like Keller and Kimbrell, and their gross earnings that's already been computed. The gross earnings is $362 for Keller, and Kimbrell earned $468.02. All right. So the way we're going to do is we're going to treat these separately. First, we're going to compute the Social Security tax. That's 6.2% or 0.062. We'll take for Keller, we're going to take the $362.40, multiply it first by the 0.062. That's the Social Security. So she's going to be withheld, or the withholdings of Social Security are going to be $22.27. For Medicare, we're going to take the same $362.40 and multiply it by 1.45% or 0.0145. And so $525 is going to be withheld for Medicare. For Kimbrell, $468.02 is the wage. We multiply that by 0.062, and that gives us $29.02. That's for Social Security. 468 times 0.0145 is for Medicare. Medicare is at that computes out to be $6.79. Okay, moving on. We'll go on to the next computation. Shannon Woolams has earned $127,634.05. Now, what we're getting at here is that there is a maximum amount of money that's going to be withheld on Social Security. All right. So in other words, once you reach a certain level, specifically in our examples here, we're going to use 100. It changes every year. It actually goes up a bit every year. But right now, the rate we're going to use is that the maximum of earnings subject to Social Security is $130,000. Now, what gets tricky is that Shannon Woolams in this example has already earned $127,634. And now her gross earnings for this pay period, let's say we're in October, November, December, we're getting close to the end of the year. But she's already come up to this amount, and now she's going to be $5,000. Well, you could see she's going to cross over the 130, right? We're going to cross over the 130. So now the question is okay, well, how do we compute how much is going to be subject to Social Security? When we know that not all of it should be, because it's going to cross over. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the difference between 130 and 127,634. She's at 127,634. She's crossing over it. So let's just first figure out, well, how much more does she need to get to 130? We'll find the difference. The difference is going to be $2,365.95. So now, what we figured out is that what needs to be, or what's going to be subject to the Social Security isn't the whole $52,2403, only $2,365.95, because then once there, that amount gets her to the 130, and that's what she only has to pay Social Security on. So we'll take the 0.62. Actually, that's wrong. It should be 0.062. 0.062 multiplied by 2365.95 will give you the $146.69. Now that would, if 0.62 is 62%, that's not right. It's 0.062. 0.062. Remember, it's 0.062, not 0.62. All right, so that's the Social Security amount, and because she crossed over the maximum amount, then she doesn't have to pay any Social Security above 130. What we also find out is if you're self-employed, meaning you have your own business, then when you compute your net income, you're also going to have to compute what's called self-employment taxes. Self-employment taxes is really the Social Security and Medicare that an employee has to pay. Oh, what you may or may not know is, so if you're an employee, you pay 7.65% for Social Security and Medicare, but your employer has to match it. So 7.65 plus 7.65 means 15.2% is going to actually be subject to really the combination. That's what's going to be sent to the federal government. It's 7.65 plus 7.65. Okay, so from there you're going to have to figure out half of it is coming from the employer and half of it's coming from the employee. But if you're self-employed, you have to pay both sides. All right, so. In essence, we're going to be looking at 6.2 times 2 is actually 12.4%. Okay, 12.4%. So if, let's see, if your net income, let's say it looks like Tashawn Williams, he or she, Tashawn, I'm not sure, I'm going to say it's he. Self-employed, is web designer. His adjusted earnings were $53,820. So really that's his net, the net earnings on his business. All right, so when computing what Tashawn is going to have to send over, we're going to take 53,820 and multiply by 12.4%, or 0.124. Now, where do we get that? Well, that's 6.2% twice. That's the employer side and the employee side, right? So 6.2 times 2 is 12.4%. And we're going to take the 2.9%, which, where does that come from? Well, that's the 1.65 times 2. Yeah, I think so. So 12.46 is 6.2 twice, and then 1.45, I'm sorry, it's 1.45 times 2. 1.45 times 2 is 2.9. So now it's 2.9%. So $53,820 times 2.9% is going to give us $1,560.78. So, normally you as an employee would pay 6.2, your employer would pay 6.2. So what gets sent to the federal government is 12.4%. They just take that, sends it to the federal government. But the difference is now, because you're self-employed, you have to pay both sides. Same with Medicare, it's 1.45, 1.45. When you're an employee, they take 1.5 out, but now the employer has to match it, so that ends up being 2.9%. So if you're self-employed, you have to pay both the employee and the employer portion. So looks like Tashawn is going to have to send over $8,234.46, and that's just for what we call self-employment taxes, which is really the Social Security and Medicare. Looks like we also have, like in some states, including California for sure, you have what's called state disability insurance. If you become disabled, you are eligible for benefits that are paid by the state of California, but in order to be eligible for those benefits, you have to pay insurance. And so you do that by nature of your payroll process. You pay 1% of your gross earnings goes towards SDI, all right? So therefore, if somebody makes $418 and we have to figure out, well, how much of that goes to Social Security, to SDI, Then we're going to take the $418, we're going to multiply that by 1%, and that's going to give us the $4.18. So that's what's going to end up going for SDI. That's going to be another deduction from the employee. Okay, so let's look at Genoa Perkins has earned $29,960 so far this year. All right, now what this is also suggesting that, like the Social Security tax that we were looking at earlier, there's a limit to how much you have to pay. In other words, if you cross over a certain level of earnings, you don't have to pay that anymore in a year. All right. So it appears Genoa Perkins has earned already $29,960. The cap is $31,800. That's, you only have to pay up to that point. But her next paycheck is $2,872. Well, she's going to cross over that $31,800. So we have to figure out, well, okay, we don't want her, she doesn't have to pay the whole $2,872's, the tax on that whole amount. We're going to have to figure out how much she does have to pay. So to do that, we're going to take the $31,800, that's where the cap is, and we're going to subtract where she's at so before. And so that difference is what is left over that she has to pay. And now she's crossed over at $2,872, so since she's crossing over, we're just going to go with the $1,840. So she has to pay SDI of 1% on the $1,840, not the whole amount, because she was already going to reach that maximum. So the $1,840 times the 0.01 gives her SDI.